Yeah, so the best way I have figured out to master HTML and CSS through just go to Behance, Dribble, or any other UI design platforms, and just pick some design, random design, and try to build that design. And yeah, that's pretty much how you learn, right? That's the best way I have found to learn. So if you go to like so if we just quickly open my if you open Chrome here, and if you go to my code pen, you will be able to see all those projects I have done. So if we search for, okay, yeah, so CodePen is a platform where you could just build UI projects. Like you can showcase it as your portfolio site, so it is very helpful. Like when you're, so basically you could build UI stuffs, you could build small projects without taking much effort into setting things up in your local system. Like you could just do the coding on the cloud, and you could just easily share the links to anyone you want to share pretty much. And so yeah, this is my code pen, and you can see all the projects I have done. So here if you see, so these are some of the JavaScript projects, and in future streams we'll be also using Java, we will be also doing some JavaScript projects. So basically here I have done 15 JavaScript projects, and here is the one I was talking about, UI design to code. So if you see here what I have done here, so here is the design from Twitter, and here is another design I found on Dribble, I believe, or Behance, I think. So if you go to platforms like Behance, you could just search for mobile UI designs, and you could just code those stuff and learn from those. And yeah, so that's a plan for the stream. We'll be just together, we'll be learning stuff by building. And so I have built these projects. If you want, you could just go ahead and see through the projects. And yeah, so you can here, you can see here like image carousel and build splitter app. So these are JavaScript, and if you dig deeper, you will see projects I have done in UI, projects I have done in HTML, CSS. So these are the projects I have done in HTML and CSS. So yeah, so you can see this UI design was created by someone, and I just built the project here. And so when you're going for an interview or a job position, you could just share your code pen link, and people can evaluate your coding ability. And yes, so yeah, so this is, so apart from Behance and Dribble, which you might be knowing, I have figured out a website called UI Design Daily. So if you come here, uidesigndaily.com, it is a good site. It's a great site for finding out UI designs for it. So what I would say is that don't jump into building big web projects. So what happens with big web UI project is that you might not end up finishing it, and like it, you will feel overwhelmed with all the pieces that comes up. So with, if you like, if you go to this uidesigndaily.com, you can see all the designs are very simple and very small stuff. So you could learn a lot by just building these small. So I would say is that build at least 11 small UI projects from here, and then go to Dribble or Behance. And so if you go to Dribble also, you are able to just search for landing page designs, and you'll be able to, yeah, you can see all the UI here. So what I would say is, first go to this website uidesigndaily.com, and daily put some time and try to build the UI in HTML, CS, or it doesn't matter. Even if you are trying to learn Flutter or any other framework or any other UI stuff, you can just do the same process, right? It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be just HTML, CS. So you can have anything. So if you go to my code pen again, you will be able to see I have even tried and played around with Flutter. And again, so setting Flutter in the local system is a little pain, but with the code pen it is very easy. Yeah, so Dribble, so that's what I would say. Again, I'm repeating things. So first go to uidesigndaily.com and build this stuff. Once you get mastered that, you go to Dribble or Behance and search for landing page designs. So yeah, so here is a search. And if you, so here you can search for landing page, and it will give you landing page UI designs, and you can try to build it. And that's the best way to master your HTML and CSS skills. Just build stuff, that's it. Like, don't get into the tutorial hell where you just keeps on watching tutorials. I have done that. I used to watch tutorials and I used to feel that I know all those frameworks, all those coding things, but it's hard. Like, it's not the way to learn. So best way to just build stuff. Yeah. So this is another project I have done from this UI design daily. I just took their design and tried to build it in HTML and CSS. Yes. So let me first log in. Okay, so now let's start. First, we will pick a design. Let's pick some design from here. Maybe this one. And let's come to our code pen and create a new code pen project. Yeah, also in CodePen you can see projects built by others, and which it will help. Like, you could just find interesting projects in CodePen, and you could just see how those projects were built. Okay, so now let's change the UI. Okay, so now, so okay, so this is the design we will be trying to build. So it is called profile cards UI design. Again, the website is uidesigndaily.com. And yeah, so let's try to build this one first, and if there is time we will try to build this. Okay, let's try to do this one first. Okay. Yeah. So most cases I just start with my CSS first. Like, I just put down some basic stuff, like I just go for universe selector, and I just say that margin is 0, and padding is 0, and box sizing is border box. So this just helps me to align myself and understand things. So let's also give it a name. So it is profile cards UI. And yeah, profile cards UI to code HTML5 and CSS3. Okay. And just a second. Okay, so and for this background color I again have a plugin here. Okay, and here I have a plugin installed in my Chrome which helps me select colors, and let's see if it works. And yes, so here what I can do is I can say HTML, I can say body background color, and I can set it to this pinkish color. I don't know which color is that thing. Okay, yeah, so you also get the color palette from here. So basically you can just use an color picker, or you could just do this, it doesn't matter. And yeah, so I will also share the stream now. So basically I'm streaming with without sharing the links to my social media platform. So yeah, so here it is. Let me take the link and share it in my Discord server. Okay, so yeah, so that's the plan. So now we have this basic stuff done. We can also like okay, so last I want to share it on LinkedIn, so doing some live coding. Okay, so now let's get to practicing, and let me save it. And here what okay, so now we have to plan like how we want to, so we want to build this card. So let's, now it's time to go to, so basically I just jump between like I always jump between HTML and CSS. So I first start with CSS and put in this base stuff here, and maybe it's time to pick some font. So let's go to Google Fonts, So Google Fonts is something which I use for getting fonts, and it doesn't matter. So when you're doing this practice where you're trying to redesign a UI design into code, you doesn't have to be pixel perfect. You just need to, so the goal here is to learn the basics and master that, get comfortable. So the whole idea is to get comfortable using that stuff, that language, that framework, than just trying to get the pixel perfect design. So basically the designs that you will see on Dribble or Behance are mostly made by designers uh, who doesn't code often. So most designs are just to showcase their design abilities, and not for, like, it's not easy to code them. So I would suggest that pick small stuff first and learn from that before jumping into complicated projects. And yeah, hey Arun. And yes, so let's pick some fonts here. So let's pick this so I'm using Roboto here. You could use any font. And yeah, so for using the font you could either use link or import. So I am using import. I don't know much difference with that. Like, you could use the link or the import way of doing things. And we have to set this font family. And yeah, let's say font families, Roboto, and backup font is sans serif. And okay, so that is also done. Now let's go move towards HTML by building the card. So let's say main, and let's give it a class of card. And if you see the structure here, you can see that there is, okay, so there is two divs here. One is top and bottom. So let's create a div here. Let's say, let's give it a class of card top, and another div here with a class of card footer. And for now, just place some random text here. Let's say top, and let's say footer here. Okay, now we have our card structure ready. Not ready, just it's fine for now. And now let's again jump back to our CSS, and let's target the card, and let's say background color, and I believe it is white. So yeah, it's white. And let's set the background color to white. And let's set the width to 40 percentage. Okay, that looks fine. And okay, so let's leave it like that for now. Yeah, another thing we can do is, okay, in body, just to center. So this is again only so that when I'm doing these redesigns in code, when I like to center things. So let's say display flags, justify content center, and align items center, and height is 100 vh. Okay, so now we have broken things, and things doesn't look good. So so we have these things here: min height 50, min width 15 percentage, and min height 50%. Okay, and width is not expanding for some reason. So maybe we need to give width 100 percentage here. Yes, so now it works. So now let's put this back to 40 percentage, and yes, Also you can see that the card has border radius, so let's also so I often go by just tackling small stuff, so let's do that. Border radius, and border radius is 2 rem. Let's try that. Okay, so it's too much here. So basically this is how it works, like you don't go by fixed things, like you try and poke things and figure things out. So let's try 1 rem, and again it is too much, so let's try 0.5 rem, and that looks pretty close. Yeah, that looks pretty close. So now then what we can do is that yeah, let's also, so I use flex box heavily, so display flex and flex direction column, and yeah, so that's done. And okay, so we need some background image for this section, and oftentimes I'm not very clear about what I'm trying to like so when I'm tackling a project, I won't be fully, like I won't know fully about how to tackle every single piece in it by in the starting. So oftentimes I just go by tackling things I know, and I just figure things out. So with every UI design to code challenge, I am learning new things and I'm figuring new things out. So yeah, so like this profile here, I'm not well, like I'm not very confident about that section, but I know how to do this background section, so let's do that. So for backgrounds again, you can use Unsplash, or in so I Unsplash is some website I use for getting images, and oftentimes I get the same images oftentimes. So let's try now. So let's type in seashore, or sea, or not sea life, sea shore, shore, not shoe, seashore, shore. Okay, and let's see if we can get, so I just like I don't spend too much time, but I often try to see like if I could get similar image. But yeah, you don't have to have the similar image, like the same image, it doesn't matter. The whole idea is to just try to come up with something close enough, and learn things on the way. So okay, so this doesn't look good. Let me see. So when you're working in a team in a company, what happens is that the designer will provide you all these things, so you don't have to bother about that. You only have to just code the stuff. You don't have to worry about getting the assets. The assets will be provided to you. Yeah, this looks close. So let me see. Open image in new tab, and let me see if it works. So for that, so that is in the card top. So let's target here card top, and let's set background image and URL. Okay, and it works. Okay, so it has some height to it. So let's say 10 rem. So 10 rem is too much, so let's, and oftentimes try to use rems or rems, and not get, like don't get too comfortable using pixels, because it's a area of responsiveness, and rems and rems provide more responsiveness. So yeah, it's better to avoid pixels. Yes, so we have got this here, looks similar, and maybe we need to like increase the height of our overall card, so let's do that. Okay, now it looks pretty close, and I think we have lost that roundness in here, so let's also add that. So border radius, left top, I don't know, let's see. So this is the part where we do googling. CSS border radius top left. Yeah, border top left radius. Oh, border. Okay, border top left radius. So this is another thing you should know, that you can do googling, like Google is your best friend and Stack Overflow is your friend when it comes to these things. So yeah. And what was the style? It was 0.5 radius here, so we have to provide that here. So it is 0.5 rem. And yeah, so here the radius has come. We also need the radius here, so let's do border top right and radius 0.5 rem. Okay, good, that looks good. So again, yeah, it doesn't matter. Let's forget about the sea here. We have the seashore here. At least we have the sand of the sea. And yes, so now the top part is done, so we don't need that word. We don't need the h1 here. So let's remove the h1 and let's see what happens. Yeah. And for the footer, so what happens with that? So in footer again we have image of a girl. So again, for that image what we can do is random user dot me photos. So this helps you like get images. So let's see if we could get some similar image. Like, we won't have to have the perfect image, but something similar. Well, let's go with this one. So okay, so how to open image in new tab, and here is image. So instead of footer, what I could say is that let's say we have image, and CodePen has really new as an asset. It is for pro members, so let's stick to the free one. And yes, so we have our image done, and let's also give it a class of card profile. And yeah, it is good practice to provide alt so that the screen readers can read through it. So user profile photo, doesn't matter, it is for the screen readers and SEO purpose. And yeah, so now let's work on that user card photo profile, card profile. And let's say border radius 50 pixel. I don't know, like 50 pixel won't work, so let's see percentage. And here we have percentage, and it works. And for the height and width, let's see 2 rem. And height 5 rem. And okay, and that looks pretty decent. Okay, also maybe we can give some border, like I'm not sure about that, this white color thing here. Okay, so let's position it first. So to position it, what we have to do is that okay, let's see. If we do text align center, which is here, nothing happens, so we are not doing that. Let's see, let's do margin auto, and again nothing happens. So let's see, position absolute. And this is another thing where I get confused often, like I'm get confused between position relative and position absolute. So let's see if it position relative, and top 0 right 0. Oh, it worked. Wow, I didn't know it would work. I just was just messing around. And let's see, that's way too much. Minus 5 ram. Okay, theorem. And okay, so that looks pretty decent. And let's try 2.5. Okay, 2.5 is perfect. And for this, how to center it? 50 percentage. And there is something called x translate x minus 50 percentage. Okay, that didn't work. So let's see how to center. CSS position absolute center. Yeah, horizontal. So we got our profile picture, so we can just close this down. And let's open this medium article. Come on. Okay. Okay, so maybe we can figure that out later. So let's do the border stuff here. So let's set border 2 pixels solid white. And yeah, so that's how they did it, right? So as I said earlier, initially I was not sure how to do this one, this white border around here, but here we have that done, right? So this is what I was talking about. Like every time when you're doing this uh, these UI design to code challenges, you will be able to learn. And yeah, so this is how I learned HTML CSS. So there is nothing like memorizing or anything. Just see how things work and just try to build it, right? It is all about messing around and figuring things out. Okay, and that looks pretty decent. And yeah, that looks pretty decent. So now what we can do is that, where is it? Okay, again you can see like this for this article also they are using CodePen. So using CodePen will help you like easily share stuff and figure things out. So that's something I would suggest test try, is that just go to CodePen daily on a daily basis and check out projects built by others and see if you could build them, and just try to recreate those and learn from them and see how different they have done. Like the same thing I have done here for this card profile could be done differently by some other programmer, right? So it is always good to refer other people's code. You will get to learn new approaches from them. And yeah, so when working with line elements, okay, can we do margin 0 and auto? So let's remove this, and margin 0 and auto. Will it work? It doesn't work. Okay, but when it comes under something horizontal, it can be tricky. Okay, yeah, so okay, this is what I was missing. So I was half correct. So I know there is something that involves translate, but I'm not very comfortable with that. So right, 50 percentage and transform translate. Also, always try not to copy paste and just type things out. So it will help you learn and build your muscle memory. So never copy paste in your life. 50 percentage and minus 50 percentage. And we have it messed up, right? So transform translate. So I think it is okay. So 150 percentage is for the top. We don't want that. So we are unable to center it. Okay, maybe I think I don't we don't want this. Let me see. What I think is I can just do display flex and justify content center, and I think the work is done, right? Yes, it is center. So again, this is the way, like there is always multiple ways to do a single thing, single feature. So just mess around and see if you could you know try to get around the thing that you're trying to achieve. So now that part is done. As you can see, it is pretty close, and yes, that's done. Now the part is to do this info sections, and let's do that. So under the image, let's say what is the name, HUL. So HUL okay, and here we have it, right? So now another thing we can do is that I could just give it a class of card title. Again, with class names, what I would say is that just be descriptive. It doesn't matter, you don't have to be perfect on naming things, or you don't have to procrastinate on naming your variables and stuff. Just go with the flow, and eventually you'll get into the habit of naming, like using good naming conventions and stuff. So so medium doesn't work, so I think we had a 300, right? Yeah, 300 is fine. Yes, 300 is fine. And also what we can do is that maybe put this inside a div called card info, and maybe put this h1 inside that. So with that way, what would happen is that you could just okay. So now what I could do here is I could just come here and say card info margin top 1 rem and 1.5, maybe 2, maybe 4, and 4 is too much, so let's go with 3. And that's it, you have got your title, the name here. And the spacing is fine, maybe the font size is too big, so let's reduce the font size. So font size is 1.2 rem. And you have got your name also, and maybe turn this into 400, and let's see how it looks. And after when working with teams, again you will be given these points, like if you are given a Photoshop, you will be able to see the points used in the, like the width and stuff. So yeah, 500 looks close. Then we need this paragraph. So this is, let's use a p tag. And yeah, so well renowned. Again, you don't have to be accurate on these things, like I just love to keep this correct, but you don't have to be, doesn't matter. Renowned mobile application, a very well renowned mobile application development company in Europe. Development company in Europe. Again, you could just use lorem ipsum. So like if you're here, you can just write lorem and it will autofill for you, like you can see the things here. Yeah, so you don't have to procrastinate on choosing the right text here. It doesn't matter. And yeah, so I have to change. So now we have broken the card width. So what I can do, I can say min width to max width. And yes, also I just have to, card info has to have display flags, justify content center, and flex direction column. So flex is something which I use on a daily basis. text align center, like the most used CSS property is flex, and I think you don't even need let me see. Yeah, you don't even need flex here. You only need the text align property. And yes, so class card, card about, and again card about has a margin top of 1.2 rem. Maybe that's too much, so let's go for 1 rem. And yes, yeah, zero point 0.8 rem. Okay, and maybe the font size, do I have to reduce the font size? Okay, let's keep it like that. Again, if you want, you could match all these, color palettes and create a perfect copy. But yeah, the whole purpose is to learn and figure things out. So I think that part is done. Maybe change the font weight. I think it's already on font weight 300. Let's see if you could, if there is any difference. Yeah, no difference. It's already in font weight 300 because you are using paragraph. Then yeah, last thing is we need this button here, and it says follow. And yeah, perfect, we have a beautiful button here. So let's say btn and btn, and we can say padding, so top 0.2 rem and 0.5 rem. Again, these are not magical numbers, you could just play around and come up with these numbers, doesn't matter. So let's see 8, and okay, maybe we need like 1 rem. Okay, and we need bit more height, so let's use 0.5 rem, and that looks good. Let's remove the border and outline none, and background color is this purple color. Sometimes I don't know why, like, these colors are not reflected here, so I just use my Chrome extension. And that's done. Again, it has some border radius, so let's go for border radius and 0.2 rem. Okay, and the main thing, cursor pointer, so that we have that hover effect. And let's also put in some margin top here, margin top 0.2 rem. Okay, maybe that's too much. Let's see. Yeah, that's too much. Let's go for 1 rem, and that looks fine. That looks okay. So yeah, this is another trick I do. I often just place the mouse and try to compare. Like, you don't have to do that. You could even use there is other extensions like ruler that you could use. Like, you could just figure out the exact measurement, like height of 20 pixels between this thing, and there is 12 pixel height here. So you could also use extensions like this, but yeah, doesn't matter. So yeah, so I think again we have done. So this is pretty much done, and yeah, and again box shadow, I'm not very comfortable with box shadow, so that's not my strong point. So maybe if you want, we can do the box shadow, or we could just keep it like this. So yeah, it looks pretty close. And yeah, so again, learn some things and here and there. And it is also good to like refine your skills. So I would recommend everyone to just like build things and learn from that. That's the best way to master things. And yeah, so that's all for this stream. Bye everyone, take care, and yeah, stay safe. And in the next stream we'll be building something similar. And yeah, again, so this is not very responsive, like you can see things are breaking here. So again, you could go into that. So what I would say is, first just recreate the UI in code, and like keep the responsive part for later. And once you're good with bringing the UI design to life through code, then you could just dive into those things like responsiveness and all those things. So yeah, so it looks good in like a tablet view. It looks good and it looks pretty similar. So tomorrow we could try to recreate these pieces here. And yeah, days pass, we'll progress more. Yeah, so that's all. Take care. Bye, have a nice day everyone.